Hello everyone and welcome to Golf Center. Along with Bob Stevens, I'm Chris Tremblay. And Bob, we have a major show to talk about, recapping some majors from last week. This week's coming up US Open, but first of all, who do we have on this week to join us?
It's a major guest.
It's a major guest.
Why not? We're going to talk about the Junior Heritage, or the Players Am, the Players Am that is coming up this summer. One of the really great amateur tournaments in the entire country. We're going to see major champions come out of that Players Am, I think. We're also going to talk about some changes that have gone on at Sea Pines Country Club that might benefit a lot of us who live here on the island, and we're going to talk about the Golfweek Amateur Tour. Chance for us to go out and test our own game under kind of tournament conditions and yet not get beaten up like the guys are at Marion.
See how we do against amateurs from all over the country, right?
Go. Yeah.
First off, though, let's talk about what's happened out there on the ladies' tour last weekend. Inbee Park wins her third major championship, gets her fourth win of the year, and Bob, she's pulling away from everybody this year.
She's got a chance to practice that smile and practice that trophy hold because
that's a nice pose.
Yeah. What's this now? 3 majors and 4 tour wins.
4 tour wins this year. Absolutely.
Leads the money list. She's just playing great. Wins it in a playoff. Great performance.
She's pulling away from everybody. On the third playoff hole, she beat Katrina Matthews. And like I said, you know, she's leading the money list by almost $500,000 halfway through the year. And to do that on the ladies' tour, you're playing some pretty solid golf.
That's what Tiger's doing on the guys' tour right now. So that's how much she has separated herself from the rest of the field.
She almost has the game that you're really looking for out of one of the U.S. Open contestants this week. Just a solid ball striker who keeps it in play and hits it on the green.
Gee, that sounds a little bit like the Champions Tour winner this last week.
The Champions
Tour. A guy
Tour
who has won here before.
Yes, absolutely. And on the Champions Tour, we had David Frost win. And in case nobody's noticing, he's having himself quite a career coming out already. David Frost beat Fred Couples by 1, beat John Cook and Esteban Toledo by 3, and that puts him in the lead in the Charles Schwab Cup, which, you know, really measures how they're playing throughout the year.
That's big stuff. David Frost has always been I think a better player than his reputation would show. He's also got a great wine out there. Of course, he's a former winner at the RBC Heritage. So David Frost has got some game, and he played very well at Shoal Creek.
And I think everybody remembers when he was on tour and playing very well. That was his stronghold, was that his ball striking, once again, somebody who was always in play, and that's really what it takes to win at Harbortown.
Indeed. And ball striking, I think, is going to be the key at Marion. I think you know the course. You've been around that area before.
Absolutely.
What a great old layout that is just... I think it's great that the USGA kind of sucked it up a bit. That cost them a little money in lost revenue because Marion's a small property.
126 acres.
Yeah, they can't do all the corporate things they would like to do, but they're making the most of it, and they've set up a great golf course.
You know, the 113th U.S. Open Championship is at Marion.
You don't remember the first one, do you?
I do not, but one of the interesting things about Marion is this is their 18th USGA championship they've had here, more than any other club. And like we just mentioned, 126 acres, not a lot of the sponsors are going to be able to have big corporate tents, but you know, a place where, what can we say, some of the greatest ball strikers of all time have won. Bob Jones in 1930, Ben Hogan in 1950.
Lee Trevino in the early 70s, and then David Graham. Great ball strikers win, not the bombers. And they don't talk much about putting at Marion being a decider. It usually is, of course, in tournaments, but as a teaching pro, you've got to love the fact that ball striking will be the big priority through the U.S.
Well, you know, when they have a shorter course like they have this week, obviously they have to put a premium on something, and accuracy is going to be where it's at. You'll see the players, obviously, when they hit it in the deep rough, a lot of times they're going to have to wedge it out to make sure that they have a good play for their third or fourth, depending on what kind of hole they're playing.
And it's wet, deep, rough. And talk about how tight this golf course is. There's a hole where the out of bounds is 4 paces off the fairway. And there's a hole where the out of bounds is 3 paces off the fairway. Different holes. Short course between 7 and 13, not a hole over 400 yards. There's a 100-yard par 3. It's just going to be, I think, a great ball striker's paradise. Couple of numbers to watch as you're watching the tournament and as you're looking back on the tournament after it's over. Ball striking. Only one guy on tour is in the top 20 in both the ball striking stat and scoring from inside 125 yards. That guy is Tiger Woods. The #1 guy on tour in scoring with a wedge in his hand this year is a guy named Phil Mickelson. It could be very interesting to see how those two guys tangle in this major. I got a feeling, though, I kind of like the guys who haven't won one yet. Somebody's going to sneak in.
You think we're going to get a first-timer?
I think we just might.
What do you think? Obviously, they've had rain early in the week before the tournament started. In the first round of the tournament, it's supposed to get a decent amount of precipitation. So how do you see that potentially panning out?
I think you see the scores are going to go low. I think they're going to go really low, although they're also going to go really high. You get off track here, there's big numbers in play. It's going to be a little like Augusta. You might go get it early in the tournament, but you might get got. You might not be around for the weekend if you have a couple of bad holes.
Well, I think it definitely favors somebody who's not considered one of the longer hitters, especially early in the week, assuming the greens are still soft, because with them hitting longer irons in there, fairways, hybrids, they're going to be able to hold the green. Obviously, as the week goes on, it's supposed to dry out. That'll probably become a little bit more challenging.
A lot of 4-irons off the tees you'll see this week. A lot of 4-iron wedge holes, little 360-yard holes.
Position holes.
Yeah, that you better be in the right spot and then attack it from there. But I think they're going to be throwing some darts at these.
But as much as we talk about the course being shorter, that's where it becomes shorter is with some of those holes. If we look at the 3-pars, you mentioned the hole that is going to be on the back 9 that's shorter. I believe it's one of the holes, I want to say 15 or 14, somewhere in there. You look at the other 3 par 3s, and you have 236, 246, and 256. And those aren't going to be short clubs. So once again, I think it comes down to who's going to be able to hit it on those greens, because those holes have a lot of trouble around them also.
And enjoy the wicker basket at the top of the flagstick. Guys aren't going to know which way the wind's blowing at the flagstick.
Yeah, if they're smart, they're going to be looking up at the top of the trees to see what the trees are doing. And ironically enough, for every USGA championship they've had at Marion, they've used the wicker baskets with the exception of 1950 when Ben Hogan won. They have a picture of Ben Hogan on the 18th hole.
That's right, but going at a flagstick when he won that tournament. We've got a lot ahead. Jam-packed show coming up. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Players Am that's coming up in July. Duke Delcher put this tournament together, and he's going to talk about the next iteration of the Players Am when we come back on Golf Center. While a lot of us are busy watching the pro tours, the pros of tomorrow are having a very, very busy summer. And one of the highlight events in the entire amateur world this summer is the Players Amateur. It's coming up July 11th through 14th at Berkeley Hall. Duke Delcher is joining us here on Golf Center. Duke, you started this tournament. It's become a monster. Congratulations on all the work you've done. We've had some great winners, and we're going to see a great week in July, aren't we?
Well, we are indeed, and thank you for that. We're excited about it. The event continues to get better each year, and our second year now at Berkeley Hall, we're delighted to have that as a host site. It's going to be a terrific venue for all the players, and we just hope if we can keep the rain showers away, we'll be in good shape.
like the folks at Marion worrying about the rain.
The weather always has something to do with it. Duke, as the co-founder of the Players Tournament, give us a brief history of how it was formed and why the best amateurs in the world want to compete in this event.
Well, Tom McKnight and I, we were on a plane ride from actually from Savannah to Pebble Beach in 1999, going out to the U.S. Amateur, and we had too much time on our hands. And quite frankly, Tom and I have been lucky. We played in a lot of events around the country, and at that time we thought, boy, we think we can put on a really good event. We were still able to compete. We knew a lot of the top players at that time, and somewhere over the Grand Canyon we decided to start the event in 2000. We thought that would be a cool year to do it, create a little history, and that's really how it started.
And the winners list is unbelievable.
We've been very lucky. Nobody knew who Ben Curtis was even when he won the 2000 Players Amateur, and a few years later he wins the British Open, and the list of both our champions and also our competitors that have played throughout the years are really now a who's who of the tour, and that's what we were hoping to accomplish.
And a lot of guys really get introduced to low country golf when they come here for the first time, and that helps, of course, with your affiliation with the RBC Heritage. That helps the kids kind of get into the idea of becoming a professional.
That's what made it all work. When I got to know Steve Wilmot through some golf connections and so forth, and we got Steve involved in the event, and of course the partnership. Giving our champion a spot in the April event at Harbortown is a real key for us, and it's turned out to be a real key for the foundation. So it's a win-win, as we like to say.
Yeah. Do the kids talk about that? Hey, I get an invitation to the RBC Heritage if I win this thing.
Well, I think they do, and for those who may follow amateur golf a little bit, it sort of started a trend. We started it, I guess, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, some people will talk about it. But there are a lot of events now. You don't have to go any further than Bay Hill at Arnold Palmer's Invitational. They award the Southern Amateur a champion. It's not unkind now where you get some of the web.com events, and the kids are getting more and more sponsors exemptions even while they're an amateur. And I think we sort of started that trend.
Duke, what are some of the parameters that helps an amateur qualify for the event?
Well, we're an invitational. We wanted to match up just exactly like the RBC Heritage is, and so we have a criteria that we follow, a strong exemption criteria that we put on our website. The kids know what it is. We do obviously have what's called sponsors exemptions, or in this case, committee exemptions, but it's well spelled out. Basically, in a quick synopsis, we invite the top 100 in the world are exempt, top 75 U.S., all U.S. amateur champions, mid-amateur champions, pub links champions, etc. So there's a long list of events that we look after.
So who might some of our favorites be for this year?
I think right off the bat we're going to look at Bobby Wyatt. Bobby was in the final group last year, ended up finishing second. Just came off Alabama's NCAA championship. I know we've been talking to Bobby. He's excited. He's #1 in the world from an amateur side. Just down the road a little bit, a young man named Sean Dale, who's goes to the University of North Florida but lives in Jacksonville. He's a real top contender. We've got the entire Australian national team coming back, so we're going to be okay from a field standpoint.
And folks around here can get involved sponsorship-wise too. I think we need to stress that as well, Duke.
We surely can. It's again going back when Tom and I started this thing. We wanted to raise money for local charities, so we have what we call a contestant amateur on the Wednesday before the event, which is similar to the Pro-Am at Harbortown. That's available to participate in. We also started a new thing this year called the 2 Club. We've got folks to pledge $2 for every 2 made during the event, and the proceeds of that are going to go to Bluffton Self-Help and Hospice of the Low Country. So we're excited about that.
That's fantastic. Where can people find out more information, Duke?
Well, they can do one of 2 things. They can call the Heritage Foundation at 843-671-2448, or they can certainly call Berkeley Hall at 843-815-8423 and ask for Bob Ring, who's in charge of all the marketing at the club, and Bob can help as well.
Duke Delcher, co-founder of the Players Amateur, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing what happens out there. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Keith Weaver of the Golfweek Amateur Tour right after this.
If this past weekend's U.S. Open is any indication, we're all kind of in a competitive mode in golf.
Always.
We want to go out and win something, right?
You bet.
You got a chance to go win something. Bigger than your club championship, a little less than the U.S. Open. It's the Golfweek Amateur Tour. It's coming through town. It's a big event. It's wonderful.
Fun for all, you know?
Indeed, and we are joined by Keith Weaver of the Golfweek Amateur Tour. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming event.
Well, the big one that we have coming up is the Southern Regional, which is going to actually be held in Lake Lure, North Carolina. We have like 7 to 10 tours coming together for a nice little 2-day event, about 120 people, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. It kind of gets you prepared for the end of the year 3-day tournament, and just a great time to spend with friends, family that you haven't seen in a while.
I probably jumped ahead. I should probably have asked the first question should be, how can people get involved and become a Golfweek Amateur?
Well, very simple. You just go to our website, www.amateurgolftour.net. You can click on the drop-down screen, the Hilton Head Savannah Tour. Look at our schedule, look at some of the rules, the things that we have coming up. Join the tour. We're offering a membership special right now of $50. We're halfway through our season, and just join up, have some fun, and compete. And like you said, it's better than competing at your club championship.
So just so everybody knows, Keith, they're playing regionally in whatever their section would be. So here in Hilton Head, we're in the Hilton Head, Savannah area.
Absolutely.
Regions are divided up obviously like this all over the country.
And for the most part, for the most part, you're playing around the Hilton Head area if you join the Golfweek Amateur Tour here, and then play in bigger events as we go along.
So tell us a little bit about how, let's say I'm living outside of Raleigh, I want to join and be part of the tour. Individual play, how are the handicap divisions divided up?
Well, we have 5 different flights, and it's all handicap based. We have championship flight A, B, C, D. Champ flight is 0 to 4, then A is 4 to 9, then 9 to 14, 14 to 19, and 19 and above. So you're not competing as a 19 handicap with a scratch golfer. You're competing against guys in your flight, same ability, and it's a lot more fun for the individual, and it's, you get to play against guys.
Players playing together in their own division, so to speak. Are there gross and net awards in each, or is it just gross within the confines of that handicap division?
It's just straight gross, stroke play gross within that flight.
So I see when I get my Golfweek magazine, I always see pictures of the winners in there. Tell us a little bit about what happens there.
Well, at the end of the year, we have a 3-day tournament here on Hilton Head, and the winners of each flight get a nice little cover shot on Golfweek magazine with their trophies, and then you open it up. There's random pictures throughout the 2 back and front covers of various individuals, team trophies, stuff like that at that event.
Now you talk about the 3-day national championship. Just to remind Bob, there were 800, if I'm not mistaken, 800 and some odd golfers here last year for the 3-day national championship.
Well, and bringing it back to a local level, how many folks do we have participating already in the tour? You say the tour is about halfway through its season. How many do we have already participating?
Well, we actually just reached a milestone for the Hilton Head Tour. We are now the largest Hilton Head Tour ever, and we've been around for about 15 years here on Hilton Head. So we just hit that 90-member mark, and we get about 45 to 50 members per tournament. So it's a nice big, chance to go out, nice big field to go out and play against.
Big but not too big. I like that number. That's a really nice number to get out, and you can kind of enjoy the process a little bit. You don't feel like you're overwhelmed by 800 golf bags showing up like you will be at the championship.
I know. I see that you have, your Ohio State colors on, so you're showing where your favoritism is. Tell us a little bit about the Carolina Ohio Ryder Cup format you have.
The Carolina Ohio Ryder Cup, it started about 2 years ago. I used to run the Columbus Ohio Tour. We moved down here. A really good friend of mine, Jared Miner, took over the Columbus Tour. We came down for the national championship. We just kind of started talking, a little trash talking back and forth. How Columbus
starts.
Yeah, that's how it always starts, right?
Absolutely.
Columbus players can't beat Hilton Head players on our courses, and one thing led to another. Next thing you know, we have the Carolina Ohio Ryder Cup, and we're going into our 3rd year.
Keith Weaver, local tour director for the Golfweek Amateur Tour. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Greatly appreciate
When we come back here on Golf Center, we're going to be joined by Kyle Maloney of Sea Pines right after this.
It is the time of the season where we all need to start getting better, especially those of you who are visiting Hilton Head Island. Great time to bring in the assistant golf professional from the golf club at Sea Pines, Kyle Maloney. Kyle, instruction is the name of the game in the summertime for folks coming down who really want to experience golf down here in the island as finely as they can and play as well as they can. Kyle, tell us a little bit about the instructional programs at the golf club.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you guys for having me here. We offer several different varieties of instruction program. One being our director of instruction, Rick Berry, who is a top 100 instructor here on the island.
And a good one.
Yeah. Secondly, our daily golf clinics. We have them at 9 and 9 o'clock in the morning every day. Strictly for really anyone, starting from beginners all the way through advanced players. It's kind of a stroke of the day, and those swings will vary Monday through Friday. And then lastly is our junior program, which has been a huge hit throughout the year. Ages 4 to 12, and those are daily from 3:30 to 4:30.
That's one of the questions I wanted to get to next was about the junior program. So the junior offerings are, if you could just repeat that, Kyle, because so many people come down here on vacation. Maybe they're looking for a little something different, Bob, for the kids to do for the afternoon or for the morning. And the parents, they like to have their alone time just a little bit. So repeat once again for us, if you could, what's going on in the junior world there at Sea Pines.
Sure. Every day from 3:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, I should say, ages 4 to 12, and it's really a fun hour for the kids. It does get them away from the parents, which I know they like. And we have a good time with them, set up different games for them to play. Very informal, but at the same time giving them quite a bit of good instruction as well.
An hour is a great time span too, because you can hold their attention that long. Now, it's not a whole half-day program,
especially that age group.
A full-day program. Yeah, you're just an hour. They'll learn how to enjoy the game just a little bit more. And we need all the juniors we can get playing the game.
Let there be no doubt that's how we continue to grow the game. Let's say we've got somebody, Kyle, who's got a little bit more developed game. They might be in their mid to later teens, looking to do a little something. Rick is the guy to go ahead and see.
Yes, absolutely. Rick is fantastic. He's doing all sorts of video analysis over at Harbortown. He'll get you up on the big screen TV. really give you a lot of informative feedback with the golf swing and any part of the game you want to work on.
For 2014, we have the reinstatement of the Junior Heritage. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a great day to hear that. The Junior Heritage was come back when we did hear that, and Sea Pines is going to again partner with the Heritage Classic Foundation this year, as well as involve the South Carolina Golf Association, and in particular the South Carolina Junior Golf Association with the tournament. So we're really excited to have that back. 78 of the best junior golfers in the country, former champions Charles Howell and Paula Creamer and Kyle Stanley, so we're really looking forward to having that
Yeah, a couple
back.
years ago, Bob, was my first winter down here when they had the tournament, and one of our students at the Junior Players Golf Academy, Ewan Ferguson, played and actually finished 8th against a real stellar field, and it was so much fun to watch these top juniors play the course that you see the pros play on. That's good stuff.
It is indeed. Folks who are driving by the golf club of Sea Pines are seeing a lot of construction going on.
they
They're
sure
seeing
are.
things, but it really has not affected the golf at all, has it?
It hasn't. Right now we are building a new clubhouse. The pro shop is still intact, separate from the construction, as well as renovations to our driving range. And that started about 3.5 weeks ago. And our goal is to open up the driving range by the first week of September. We're shooting for the clubhouse to reopen probably towards the end of January, beginning of February. But it's really going to be a great improvement to the overall the golf experience.
Kyle, how can somebody find out information on the instructional programs?
If you head to our website, which is seapines.com, click on the golf tab there, and there's several different options to pick from for the instructors. For Rick, information on our daily clinics as well.
Kyle Maloney, golf professional at Sea Pines, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And that's all the time we have for Golf Center this week. For my co-host Bob Stevens, I'm PGA professional Chris Tremblay. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.